Alright, so this is a brief little video dedicated to the handful of people who wondered about my whereabouts. It's nice to know I'm missed. Right now I'm just driving, delivering auto parts. If you know anything about me or you've watched my videos, I was in the hospital back in Christmas, lifting and lugging, torn epigastric artery in the abdomen, blah, blah, blah. But I started this job delivering auto parts. I like driving. I've always loved driving. I like being on my own most of the time. This is very nice. And I know the area. It's no big deal. But the job itself is, it's like 50-50. Be a nice retiree job. But so that's what I'm doing. I'm delivering auto parts. But I got a lot going on with my parents. My father had the stroke. My parents are elderly. I'm trying to coordinate with my siblings and get them out of the house they've been renting for years and get them into like a senior-friendly complex. I applied to the place. This was back in like November. It was before I even went to the hospital. And when I applied to this senior complex, they told me, they said, it could take months, if not, over a year. So I said, fine. And, they got in touch with us, I think it was a few weeks ago. Jesus Christ. Look at all this fucking traffic. They got in touch with us a few weeks ago and said, we have an opening, so we're in the process thereof. I'm 50-50 if it's a good move or a bad move. I think in the long run it'll be a good move, but I don't know. It's a bit further out, so it's like, it's not far, but it's a bit further, and like if something happens, if one of them trips or falls, or one of them needs some emergency, it's a bit out of range, but so I gotta look into that, and it's probably, we can get the ball rolling, signing leases, doing all that bullshit, trying to get them in. It's a very nice, it's small, it's like, one bedroom, one little living room, kitchenette kind of thing, but it's got a really nice shower. The shower's like a walk-in closet, basically. In the bathroom, it's like a very handicap-friendly, basically an old people or retard shower. Nice and handicap-friendly, you can walk in, and my father, with his stroke, he doesn't have use of his right arm. He can walk around, he can hobble, but his right arm is pretty much dead. He can just barely move it. So someone like him is greater risk of tripping and falling. So, there's positives, but there's also negatives, like, I don't know, it seems like a pain in the ass in a way, having to move them out, having to move their shit, what's going to fit, what's not going to fit. I'm driving this job because I need to get back to work. My temporary disability ran out. I didn't want to go back to the grocery store or the furniture store just yet. I might. This job is kind of a pain in the ass because it starts, late morning. This current job, driving auto parts, starts late morning and it gets out like in the evening. It varies. Sometimes it depends on the last ride is. So it's hard, like when I used to work overnights, I'd work overnight and then I'd go to a morning job. Or if I worked an evening shift, I'd go to the overnight job. This job, it's like, it begins and ends at inconvenient times, if you understand what I'm saying. It's like, if this job gets out, let's say I get done today around 6 p.m., 6:30. Well, overnight job doesn't start till like, 10:30. So I just go home, try to nap for a few hours, or, and then, if I work overnight and get out, like, from like 10:30 to like, I don't know, 6 in the morning, 6:30 in the morning, whatever it is. I'm supposed to go home and try to nap for a few hours, so I got to be back at this place at 11ish. So it's kind of an inconvenient time. I mean, like I was talking to my brother. I said, this would be the great. I told my shrink this. I said, if I had Social Security disability, SSDI, they do let you work up to a certain threshold. This would be the perfect dick. I even said it before I applied to this job. This would be the perfect dick around job. Fuck around for a few days a week or a few hours here and there. I would love to do this as like, for supplemental income, augmentation income, personal income that doesn't affect my Social Security disability. But, I'd have to apply for SSDI. Can't be working when you apply. Hope you get approved, which could take months, if not years. If you're denied, then you got to go the lawyer route. See, other people, one of my heroes, my great Lord and Savior, he had his parents to support him. He was an only child, and he lived with his parents for a few years, but he applied for SSI, and he got approved after X amount of months. But that's SSI. I want SSDI. I've discussed this before. I'm not going to go back over all that. I wish I would get SSDI, which is like effectively being retired before retirement age. And that's the thing I want to mention with my parents. My parents have nothing. That's part of the problem. My parents have absolutely nothing. They worked most of their lives, never saved up anything, rented, never, they have nothing. All they have is their Social Security, their regular Social Security payments. For those who don't know, or those who are not American, what happens is, when you reach a certain age, if you're an American and you've been working, when you reach a certain age, you can retire and collect Social Security payments, Social Security income. Social Security benefits, they call it. And I think the earliest you can retire is 62, but that's considered an early retirement and you won't get your full amount. Regular retirement occurs in the mid-60s. It used to be 65. I think they upped the age for people depending upon what year you were born. Some people, used to be 60. Like my father, it was 65. He didn't collect. He had a stroke when he was 66, so he did not collect. So you don't have to collect Social Security when it's time. You can keep working if you want. And then maximum age is 72, I believe. And if you reach 72 and you're still working, you can collect your full amount. I think you get extra amount, and you can work as much as you want. So in theory, if you're 72 years old and you're so inclined, you can collect your Social Security payments and you can keep working. There'll be no penalty. But with my father, what he wanted to do, he didn't want to retire at 62 because that wouldn't be enough. He wanted to keep working as long as he could. I don't know if he wanted to work till 72. I don't know if that was his plan. But when he turned 65, he was eligible to collect Social Security. He didn't want to. He wanted to keep working. How long he wanted to work, I don't know. But he had his stroke about a year or so later at 66, and I had to scramble to sign him up. I remember going to the Social Security office to get him signed up, and I had to do it on the computer. But no, I did it at home on the computer. And then I went in, and my sister was clever. She said, listen, if anybody asks how our father, who just had a stroke, was able to sign up, tell him he did it on a tablet. And sure enough, I went to the Social Security office. I forget why. Right after my father's stroke, I wanted to get into some paperwork or do something. And I remember the bitch. She was like, there's no way a man who just had a stroke could have filled out all this. So I lied. I used my sister's excuse. Oh, he did it on a tablet from his hospital bed. Stupid bitch. Anyway, alongside, I'm kind of rambling. The point is, so at 62, you can take an early retirement, but you don't get the full amount. It used to be 65. For my father, it was 65. For people born later, they upped the age 66, 67. It varied. They didn't increase. So whatever that mid-60s retirement age is, you can retire, get a higher amount than at 62. But, however, you can't work. Because if you work, they deduct it from your Social Security. Once you reach 72, I think it's 72, you can collect your full amount and keep working. They don't penalize you. You don't get penalized for working past 72. But there's that gray area in your mid-60s, whatever the age is, 65, might be 67 now, whatever it is, where if you retire, you can't work, because if you work, they take it out of they deduct from your Social Security. So I don't know what my father's plan was, but he really fucked things up. But what I've learned, I don't know what the world's going to look like, in another 20 some odd years when I get there. But if I were in my father's shoes, what I would have done is, as soon as I turned 65 or was heading towards 65, I would say, it's time to retire. It is what it is. Whatever my amount is, it is. I'm not going to fucking work and have it deducted. I'm just going to fucking, retire at 65 and collect whatever they want to pay me. So I don't know what my father was thinking. Did he think he could work till 72? Did he think he'd get a higher amount if he retired at 68? I don't think he would have. Maybe he would have paid more into it. It might have been. It wouldn't have been worth it. So I look back and I go, what's the point of all this work, toil? You still end up having a stroke. Put the burden on me. He'll never get to enjoy his nice retirement. But my father was an asshole. There's all kinds of stories I could tell. He was a piece of shit growing up. My mother's I gotta be polite. My mother's kind of a twat. So part of me likes to see them suffering. But my mother's all excited, tickled pink. She and her husband are gonna get their own little place, la la la. But anyway, this place is effectively rent controlled. They call it moderate income housing because it's, all my parents have is their Social Security. That's what I was getting at. I ramble a lot. All they have is their Social Security. So that's, it's rent controlled based upon how much you got to show them how much you as a married couple, my parents, how much they make in Social Security per year. Social Security goes up every year, and I'm sure the rent of this place will go up incrementally. But if my parents were millionaires, they wouldn't be able to live in this place. And it's nice. It's relatively new. It's in a relatively safe area. If you know Jersey, it's a bit further west. It's a bit, a bit more rural, a bit whiter. There, I said it's a bit whiter. So it's a nice bunch of old white people. So it's a nice, safe, clean environment with a beautiful shower. So it's a good place. It's not some Fleabag motel or something. Look at this way. Shit! Can you believe that? God damn.